back, everyone. Hope you had a wonderful commercial break. Here's a shout out to our sponsors. We have none. So there, stick it to the man. So now this is the prelude to the Q&A session. Q&A, of course, like polite human beings, we'll raise our hands. We will be recognized and we will announce to the crowd who we are. This is a good way for new people, like you, to get to know everybody. Okay. And but first, we're going to go with the Inside the Actor Studio 10 questions. You may not stand forth on the floor and spout out pontifications. Yeah. This is to the point. What's your favorite word?
Pontificate.
What's your least favorite word?
My least favorite word is deadline.
Deadline. What turns you on?
Cake. She's not spilling right away herself. Yeah.
It's a good one. Points. What turns you off?
People who combine ignorance with being opinionated.
Okay. Stupid people with lots of opinions. I know a few of those. Yeah. What sound or noise do you love?
Psytrance. I love it.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Funky house. I just think it's music to kill yourself to. It's so fucking pretend uplifting.
As opposed to real.
It's like eating McDonald's, you know? Like it's got this kind of sugar. Anyway. Awful music.
What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, my favorite curse word is you unutterable cheese mite.
You unutterable cheese mite.
It's from what's her name? You know, like the famous 4 novels. And didn't you guys say it's an English book? You know, it's like a 1950s English insult.
Well, our last person here was Andrea Noble, and her favorite curse word was cunt.
Oh yeah, it's a good one too.
It's a good one too.
Yeah, it's kind of. I feel like it's hard to use in every day. Yeah,
depends on what your crowd is.
Very, very flexible, very diverse.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I don't even know what my profession is. That's very hard.
Well, what profession would you like to attempt?
What would I like to attempt? I would like to attempt to be a radio announcer. I've always been told I had a good radio voice, and I thought that would be fun. It's all about talking, right?
What profession would you not like to do?
Accountancy.
You came right out with that.
Actuarial studies, anything that's too number based.
And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome to the party.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, the floor is officially open for questions for our esteemed guest, Mr. Tom Dawkins. Any questions?
Don't be shy.
Okay, I'll ask. What do you do now?
I'm sorry, who are you, ma'am?
I'm Christina, Mama Love. What do you do now?
Hi, Christina. I'm my official job title is Change Manager Digital Marketing Strategy. At Ashoka, which is an international non-profit organisation. We're in about 80 countries, and we try and identify the world's leading social entrepreneurs and support them to create change at a really enormous scale. And so essentially what I do is I oversee all our social media. Which I enjoy. So I actually professionally try and fit messaging into 140 characters at a time. That's why you can tell I'm off duty now.
I don't think anything you've said has been under 140 characters.
No.
This talk could not be Twittered. New person.
Yes, sir.
Who are you?
Doris, who are you?
I'm Booger.
Pleasure to meet you.
Cheers. You need to ask him a question because you're new.
That's pressure.
And this is Doris, by the way. You have a burner name, Doris?
Doris.
A burner name? Or just Doris?
Odorous sometimes.
Odorous.
Maybe like that.
Yeah.
How did you initially get into politics and have that? How did you have such an early, not experience, but exposure to the political realm? And why did you care at that time, which is so hard to get the youth into?
Yeah. I come from a really political family. I mean, what we used to talk about around the dinner table, even when I was quite young, was political issues. You know, and sometimes like really obscure ones. Like I remember having a big debate with my dad when I was about 15 about whether Zimbabwe should redistribute white farms to black landless peasants. You know, like 5 years before that happened, before Mugabe then violently did that, we were debating whether that should. I mean, how did that even come up? I don't even know. But you know, so we used to talk a lot about it, and I used to think a lot about it, I guess. And my uncle was part of a member of the cabinet for the federal government when I was growing up. He eventually became the treasurer, and so I came from kind of a political household. But it was that experience I talked about. You know, when I was on exchange in America. I mean, America was really formative for me in a way because I realized that not everyone believed the things I believed. You know, Spokane, Washington's a relatively conservative area, like the eastern part of Washington State. And I was confronted by all these people who had wacky, like, I mean, you know, I don't want to offend anyone here, for instance, but I didn't know that anyone believed, I didn't know creationism was a real belief. I thought it was like people who believed the earth was flat, like this hilarious thing that people, you know, like, I don't even taught it in this historical context that, you know, back before we knew any better, you know, and then I met all these creation. You know, the first time someone told me about creation, I like laughed at it. I thought that is so funny. I'm sure you are. And then it turned out that everyone in the class was a creationist, and so I was like really, and all this stuff that is like, you know, all these things that I believe, but I'd never even had to talk about because they're not issues. I knew I believed them, but I don't even know if I knew I believed them until they'd come out, like, you know, about capital punishment and death penalty and all these like culture war issues in America are non-issues in Australia. So I never even have to think about them. So being in America was really formative in that sense that all of a sudden I realized that all these people had these different beliefs from me, and I was forced to articulate my beliefs for the first time. And that was a step. And then going to that conference, and I realized it wasn't enough to be opinionated. I had to do stuff. And that was when I shifted from just being able to talk about it to actually being active.
Excellent. Very good for being put on the spot.
Thank you.
A+. Come now. Yes, sir. Who are you again?
My name is Brewster, and
I don't recognize you with your haircut.
Touche.
You look 10 years younger.
Wow.
Now, there are some naive, foolish, misinformed people out there who might say that what people do in the Burning Man community is a waste of time. Tom, you're clearly somebody who, throughout your life, has not wasted much time. You invest in things that are important. How does the burning community warrant the investment to you, and what do you think, as you go on to your next challenges, will you have gained from being part of the burning community?
That's a great question. Thanks, Brewster. I mean, you know, so I went to Burning Man for the first time in '06, and it was, you know, while I was traveling around the country for other purposes, and then I had the opportunity to meet up with friends and get taken out to the desert, and I didn't really prepare or think very much about it beforehand. When we moved here, I mean, the Burning community has been amazing for us. You know, that we moved to the city, we didn't know anyone. We came directly from Burning Man, actually, in 2008, and arrived knowing almost not a soul. And then looked up the Burning Man website and discovered there was a regional in about 3 or 4 weeks after we got here. Went to our first, PDF in fall PDF in 08. And it really just gave us a community that, you know, was so accepting and inviting and fun to be part of. And I think that's the key to moving to a new place, is that you've got to belong, you've got to have a subculture that you can, whether that's like you're mad about cycling or art house movies or progressive politics, whatever it is. If all you do is consume mass culture, you know, if the music you like is whatever is in the top 40 right now, and if the movies, your favorite movies are whatever Steven Spielberg, you know, that's the consumption of culture that has no community built around it, because it's too many people to be a community. And I've always been really attracted to subcultural communities. You know, we were very involved in what's called the doof community in Australia, a similar kind of nomenclature. Such a hard word, isn't it?
Nomenclature?
Yeah, I hardly ever say that. Like, it's one of those words you know how to read, but you hardly ever find yourself. But, you know, in the sense that, yeah, it's just like, you know, to burn, we're burners, we go burning, you know, we're doofers, we doof. We're doofing. Yeah.